If you feel like no matter what you do, it's never quite enough, this episode is for you. You keep pushing, producing, staying busy, but deep down you know that you're falling short. My name is Dilan, I'm a psychologist and a coach, and we're gonna break down why your self-worth got tied to your performance in the first place, what's happening in your nervous system right now, and how you can finally shift it. I can tell you right now, it's not by doing more. It's by meeting the parts of you that still feel like they need to prove something. Here's something most people don't know. Overworking isn't always ambition. It's mostly self-protection. And once you understand that, everything starts to change. Let's start by talking about the hidden fear behind your performance. On the outside, it might seem like ambition. People might look up to you for it. They might be proud of you for it, for being the girl or guy that always works on themselves and that achieves his or her goals. But on the inside, it mostly does look like this. If I slow down, I'll lose love, respect, opportunity, status, money, whatever it is that you're afraid of losing. This is what belief is tied to it. You feel like you're gonna lose it all if you slow down, if you stop doing, if you stop performing. This fear is often pre-verbal and embodied. It's not logical. So what does that mean? If the fear is pre-verbal, that means you don't even have the words for it yet. It is so deeply rooted inside of your subconscious mind, the one where you don't have access to, the one that we would be overwhelmed to see if we could see it. So it's so deep in our brains, buried underneath everything else, that we don't even have words for it yet. It's embodied, meaning that our body feels it first before our thoughts adjust to it. Meaning if you look for it, you will see the signs in your body. You will feel your heartbeat going faster and faster. Maybe you're sweating, maybe you're shaking. It's different for everybody. So for me, it's often when I start cramping. It sounds weird almost. When I start cramping in my hands, I know there's something wrong. When I start doing this, I know there's something that I don't have the words for it yet. Maybe it's a fear, maybe it's a deep-rooted anxiety, whatever it is. This is often linked to early on experiences in our childhood or in our past in general, or even before that. This could also be linked to our experiences as a fetus inside of our mother's bodies. Many of us have learned in childhood that achievement means safety and failure means shame. That's something that is super, super typical in every household out there. I'm not trying to blame the parents for this, because most of our parents did this with a pure intention. They want to protect us. And this is exactly what happened. By protecting us, by having these good intentions, wanting your child to be successful in life, you reward any type of performance that leads to success as a parent. Meaning, if your child comes home from school with a good grade on their exam, of course you're going to say good job and reward them in any type of way. But what that does is it links achievement of any kind with safety. The child learns you are safe, you are good when you did something right. But the problem starts when the opposite, failure, starts to be linked with shame, or it's not even about the parents doing it directly to the children, but rather this is just shown in behavior. You don't really know that you're doing it. I mean, I see it in myself as well. When somebody disappoints my expectations, it's just we cannot hide that disappointment. And the people who are doing that, they react with shame. And in that moment, it's crucial, for example, for children, to let them know it's okay. I mean, it's okay that I'm disappointed. I mean, I expected something better. That's fine too. It's okay to be disappointed, but it's also okay to fail. Everything is okay. It's part of living. And it's very hard to teach children this. So I don't blame the parents for it. It's just something we learn and something we need to work on. But When this happens and achievement is being rewarded, performance is being rewarded, this means that later on in life, most people keep performing, keep striving, keep pushing, because achievement means safety. And of course, you're doing what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel good. The difference in this being healthy or unhealthy is if you keep pushing and trying and doing and performing in order to thrive, in order to be proud of yourself and celebrate yourself and become the best version of yourself, you're good. That's healthy. Keep doing what you do. But if you do it to avoid not being enough, that's unhealthy. Because you're running from something. You're afraid of something. You're doing it out of fear. What I'm meaning to say with this is it's protection. If you are somebody who just can't stop because they're afraid that they'll lose something, they're afraid that they're not enough if they rest, it's just self-protection. That's what I'm trying to say. Quick interruption, I just want to tell you about something I am really excited about. It's called Wake Up Week, my live 5-day coaching experience to help you stop overthinking and finally build the habits that get you where you want to go. So if you've been stuck in the same cycle, but you're ready to do something about it, this one is for you. You'll get daily exercises, real coaching from me, and a recording of each session. You can join the waitlist now with the link down in the description. I can't wait to see you inside. Now, let's jump right back into the episode. Let's look at the psychology behind it. There's the so-called self-worth theory of achievement motivation by Martin Covington from 1992. And he found that an individual's sense of self-worth is dependent on their ability to achieve. So basically what we just talked about, children learn, especially he observed this in school settings, children learn that achievement means good, means safety, means valuable, and any type of failure that is either corrected or neglected feels like a reflection of the self and not the effort. So what does that mean? That basically means there are kind of like two types of this. One type of people fails at something and sees it as a failure of their efforts, saying, okay, my efforts for this task weren't enough, or I just couldn't work well with the circumstances and it just didn't work. That's it, period. And then the other type of people, they see the failure not as a failure of their efforts, but of their self, of their identity. So they tell themselves, I am a failure because I failed at this. Do you see the difference? This is when we internalize that our value depends on how well we do. Covington also talked about how people start to then, in order to protect their self-worth, use self-handicapping or perfectionism. So you can imagine it like this. I don't know if you know that type of person or if you are that type of person, but think back to school when you studied for your exam and then after you wrote the exam, you don't know yet if you failed or if you've succeeded. Then you start talking to your friends about it and you have the feeling that it went bad. So what you do is you start to self-handicap and tell your friends, oh yeah, but I was so tired yesterday. I didn't even learn that much, or I just started learning like 2 days ago. This is a type of self-handicapping. So you say that the environment was the problem to protect your own self-worth, because if you were to admit that you are the problem, that you started learning way too late, or that you just didn't know the subject of the exam that well, that would really, really break your self-worth, your ego. So what you do is what we all do. It's supernatural and super normal for us to do that, to protect ourselves, is to self-handicap, to put obstacles in our way so that we have an explanation if we fail. And for perfectionism, it's the other way around. So because you're so afraid of failing, you use perfectionism as self-protection by saying failing isn't even an option. Because I want to do everything perfectly, failing is out of the picture. I will never fail. But yeah, that's just like, we all know perfectionism. That's just an endless cycle of pain, basically. So for people who have never unlearned that their ability is equated to worth, what we learn from an early age, for those people, they have something that is called conditional self-worth. So they tell themselves, I can rest when I'm done. I can feel proud when I've achieved enough. Or I can feel lovable once I have proven it. So you set up conditions for yourself in order to feed your self-worth. Whatever that condition might be, this is the point where you can pause the video and just think about it for a second. Do you love yourself unconditionally? Do you tell yourself, I am worth everything, my self-worth is untouchable no matter what I do, no matter what I achieve, no matter how well I do in exams or in my job or in my life? If that's the case, I congratulate you, because not many people can do that, can say that about themselves. Most of us, we have conditional self-love or self-worth. We always tie our worth to conditions. So it's limited, which is super sad, which is why we're here, to break that. And if you're still not sure, let's look at how conditional self-worth shows up in real life. Some of the symptoms might be that you're overworking even if you're tired, that you're feeling anxious in the moment that you stop being productive, that you're using success as proof that you're okay, that the second you feel like things are slowing down, you feel shame. This one's good. This one I can relate to. That you have trouble celebrating your wins, and it's always just on to the next thing. And it gets really interesting when we look at the narrative. So people tell themselves, if I stop, I'll fall behind, and everybody's going to be just more on track than me. Comparison is a huge thing. If I stop, I'll lose everything. I cannot rest. I'm not done yet. I'm not enough. And even when you know that's not true, even when you logically think that you're okay when you rest, you try to convince yourself it's fine, you can chill for a moment. That doesn't work, because your nervous system doesn't care. Your nervous system only cares about emotional memory, and what you feel is stronger than what you think. So because you have the feeling, the emotions, the emotional memory that doing means surviving, that's what your nervous system will keep remembering and keep pushing forward, and that's why you can't stop. So let's dive deeper, why you can't just let go. And now I want to talk about the psychology of parts, and it might get a bit abstract now, so just bear with me. It's a nice theory, and I would love to share it with you. This isn't just mindset. We're talking about internal survival roles. This is something that comes from the internal family systems, so IFS, which is a therapeutic concept created by Dr. Richard Schwartz. So basically, IFS says that your psyche is made up of parts, and each of those parts has its own role, its own emotions, its own survival strategy, and all of them are kind of like your internal family, which is why it's called internal family systems. You probably have some of these internal protectors, which are part of the so-called managers in your brain. I'm not trying to make this too scientific. It's actually quite amusing if you think about it. So just bear with me. Think about having these tiny parts, these tiny people in your head, and they're your protectors. And I'm gonna show you a few. So the first one is the pusher. The one screaming in your head, keep going, don't stop. It pushes you towards productivity, towards ambition, and it hates if you're lazy or if you fail. So that's the one that really drives you forward, that really tells you if you stop now, you will fall behind. Then we have the prover. The prover wants you to constantly seek validation from other people. It wants you to be seen, to be heard, to be told that you're capable and that you're doing fine. So that's really a social one, demanding of you that you ask for permission and that you are validated by other people. Next, we have the fixer, or I like to call it the people pleaser, because this one will make you fix everybody else's problems. This one will try to control outcomes to avoid conflict or rejection. So this one is super scared and just tries to fix everything to solve everything. And then lastly, obviously, we have the perfectionist. I don't think I have to explain this one, but it's the one that can't stand flaws, that can't stand being exposed as human. So this one really wants everything to be perfect. So basically, each of these parts wants you to believe that if you stop performing, if you are slacking, that you're going to be judged, you're not going to be liked anymore, you're going to be alone, that you're going to be lazy, that you've failed, and that you're not enough. It sounds horrible, but let me tell you, and believe me when I say this, these parts aren't the problem. The problem is that you've been ruled by them instead of leading them. So I like to imagine it like this, and this is just part of the solution. I know it's hard. It's difficult because you've been like this all your life, so how can we make this change? Not overnight. But it's good to know about this, to know about the parts, to know which part is speaking. So imagine it like this. In your head, there's a big school bus. That's always how I imagine it, these big yellow school buses. And usually you're the driver. You're the one in the front seat, and behind of you, all of these seats are filled with your parts of yourself. And then you're the driver. When you're the driver, everything is fine because you decide where to go. You lead your parts, you take them with you. That's an important part because you cannot leave them behind. They are parts of you. They belong to you. They make you you. So you got to take them all with you. You're the driver. You are controlling. You are leading. It gets problematic once one of the parts, let's say the pusher or the prover, once one of these parts comes to the front, starts nagging you, and eventually takes the steering wheel. It pushes you down from your chair, and then it starts driving the bus. The part is deciding where we want to go. And you just imagine this, like the pusher sits in the front seat, you've been pushed aside, you're not leading anymore, you're not in control anymore, and the pusher just starts hitting the gas, and you go so fast, you're so scared to stop, but you can't do anything, you feel paralyzed, because the pusher is in control. That's what's happening. Literally, that is what's happening. So it's your job as the whole you to take control, to move to the driving seat and to drive the friggin' bus and to keep your parts in place. You won't be able to do that by ignoring them, dismissing them, suppressing them. Those are not options. You have to see them for what they are. You have to allow them to be there because they are important. Like I said, we're talking about survival here. They've kept you alive all your life. So we cannot ignore them. We have to learn to appreciate them for what they're doing for us. But still, you're the driver. I know this is a lot, so let's talk about what you can do today. Basically with this, our goal is to name the part and lead the moment. So the next time you're feeling the urge to do more, to not rest, to not give you a moment of just nothingness because you're scared that you're not enough if you do, the next time you hear that voice saying, do more, pause and question it. Don't suppress it because it's not going to work. It's way too strong for that. Just pause and reflect on which part is talking right now. This is the beginning of parts work you're doing. This is literally, you're becoming your own coach here. This is what we do in our jobs. This is what I do. I do parts work all the time in my coaching, and it works like a charm. So you be your own coach. You ask yourself, become grounded. Like, you can't be pacing through the room. Sit down or stand still. Focus. And ask yourself which part is taking over the steering wheel. And then figure it out. Is it the pusher? Is it the prover? Is it the fixer? Is it the perfectionist? Or is it something completely different? Sometimes I have clients that start talking about, oh yeah, that's like the 12-year-old version of me. And I'm like, what? What is she doing here? And then they start talking about themselves when they were 12 and how, and then the story begins. And then you unfold the whole thing. So the parts in the IFS, they're defined, the ones that I told you, but I love to work with a bit of imagination as well. So whoever you see driving that bus that is not you, is not your calm and grounded self, figure it out who that is. Whatever that is, try not to fight it, but talk to it. I know, for some people this is going to be weird, but this is literally, you have to, if you want to change, this is how you do it. Try to talk to that part of yourself and try to talk like a leader. Talk to them like, I I understand you. I know why you want me to go faster and do more and work more. I totally get it. And you're right for thinking it. But right now, I feel like my way is the best way. So will you come with me on my way? The goal isn't to have full control, to be like a puppet master with your parts, because that's inhumane. You're human, don't forget that. It's literally, you can only do this. One moment of pause, one moment of safety equals one moment of a little upgrade to your nervous system. Believe me, the more you do this, the easier it will get, and the easier you will recognize the parts, and the more you talk to them like a leader, the more they will see you as a leader and let you lead. So I can promise you, the more you do this, it gets better over time, and you're not always going to be like this. So if you're still here in the video, DM me and tell me I know my parts, so I know. I want to reward you for being here and working on yourself, because not many people will do this. So be the 1% of people who works on themselves, and you will be amazed by the results. I have experienced them firsthand. So when I was being trained as a coach, we had to experience these things like clients, because how can you help someone? How can you help a client if you've never experienced the thing yourself? So we were being coached the whole time. It was so intense, and I loved parts work the most because it gave me so much insight, and it gave me so much. I literally can walk through life and know that I unconditionally love myself and see myself for who I am. And I want to give that to you, but it needs some work from you. So please do that. I know it's weird, but please do it. Talk to yourself, talk to your parts, lead your parts, and start driving that bus, whichever way you want to go. So remember this. You're not here to prove that you're worthy. You're here to recognize that you always were, and that you will always be worthy no matter what you do. I truly believe that. And I hope you do too. And with that, I want to thank you so much for being here, or for still being here. Like I said, DM me. I know all my parts, so I know you've watched until the end, and so that I can appreciate you for doing that, because I know these topics aren't so easy to grasp sometimes, and it's a bit weird, but I mean, if it works. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.